Welcome back to Startup Street. Licious saw a 44% reduction in losses in FY24 despite a 9% revenue decline on a yearly basis. Ritu Singh spoke to the co-founders of Licious on their financial performance earlier last week. Here's a slice of that conversation. Listen in.
D2C meat and seafood startup Licious has reported a 44% drop in losses and an 8% decline in revenues for the financial year ending March 24. Now, Licious said the closure of distribution channels, Dunzo in particular, and the winding down of exposure to modern trade and local stores that dragged their revenues, but they expect to achieve EBITDA break-even in the current financial year as they expand their offline network. Now, Licious has also announced the acquisition of Bengaluru-based offline retailer My Chicken and More, bringing its retail points of sale to 26. For more on this, joining me now are the co-founders of Licious, Abhay, Hanjura and Vivek Gupta. Abhay and Vivek, thank you very much for being with us here on CNBC-TV18. And Vivek, let's start with the financials where revenues have declined 8% because of this third-party distribution channels closure. Just tell us what exactly happened here and how much dependence you now have on these third-party channels and whether you see revenue course correcting in FY25.
Yeah, so our revenue on quick commerce and other channel partners is not very high. It is closer to 20% today. Earlier also it was not very high, but there are only 3-4 channel partners, and with Dunzo not able to raise money, obviously that channel has, we have stopped the business a year ago, and that revenue decline we can see. Even Swiggy has pivoted, I think a year and a half ago, from a Swiggy meat store business to Swiggy Instamart, where they have moved the meat business. So that was also a little bit of a readjustment, which we saw in the last financial year. In our own platform, we have actually seen a growth of 5%, but this whole channel partner business little bit got readjusted.
Losses have also dropped by 44% in FY24, but they're still quite high at nearly 300 crores. One, what helped you bring down the losses in the year? And two, what gives you confidence that you will achieve EBITDA break-even in this financial year? And after that, how soon do you think you'll be PAT positive?
Okay, so actually that's a last year number. We are actually currently at a burn rate of around 140 crores annually. So that is, in last 6 months, we have cut it by 50% more and eyeing, like a very negligible burn by March. So we should be very close there. All this is happening with, supply chain efficiencies and cutting all these flaps of unprofitable channels. So I think business that way is on a very right track to achieve profitability in next 6-8 months.
All right, Abhay, quick commerce seems to be the flavor of the season. We're seeing that across the board. Your own quick commerce deliveries have increased by 30% over the previous year in FY24, and you're piloting that 30-minute delivery in Gurgaon at the moment. What exactly is the strategy on that front? How soon do you hope to expand from Gurgaon to other cities? And will this also mean some pressure on profits in the near term?
Well, so let's take it, in the parts that you asked the question. So like Vivek said earlier, quick commerce contributes to about 20% of the total business. And if you go one step deeper, you will see that most of the demand on quick commerce is driven by what are more staple, SKUs like a chicken curry cut or egg or something like that. So what we're seeing is that, very base staple SKUs which have that instant impulse use case are the use case that consumers are adopting on quick commerce, and that's where we're seeing the growth. On channels like Swiggy or Blinkit, we hold the dominant market share as well. So it's important for us to, to be where the consumer is. And hence, we are working very closely with the partners like Swiggy and Blinkit, who understand that this is a category which needs different attention and appreciation from a cold chain and perishability perspective. So those channels are growing. And of course, in time, we are also evolving our own network to become faster and a multi-tiered, multi-promise network, which is where the 30-minute promise is coming through. So Gurgaon is live. In fact, we've seen 40% growth in the areas where we have launched 30-minute delivery. And we hope to complete a total rollout in India over the next 6 to 8 months.
In terms of your offline distribution channel as well, and now you recently announced the acquisition of My Chicken and More, and with that, your retail point of sales have gone from 3 to 26. In this context, just give us a sense of how many offline stores you're planning, because as we understand, the bulk of your orders are still coming from your own application.
So, and it was, the decision to go offline has been timed with intent, because we were waiting to get to a, large scale, reduced burn, and finally be ready to expand the offline footprint in a meaningful way. Now, with the 26 store addition, our network has expanded, but what we are thinking of is that by the end of the fiscal, we should get to a 40 store sort of a footprint very quickly. And the idea of going there is to get the box right, because in retail, it's extremely important for you to figure out the deep PMF within each box. And every market is very different, Ritu. Calcutta will behave very differently from Bangalore, and Delhi and Bombay will behave very differently, given some regions will have greater affinity to fish and seafood, some will have greater affinity to some other category. So it's important to get the box right, the customer experience, the profitability right.
Vivek, if I were to get more specific about this deal with My Chicken and More, one, what was the deal size? You haven't disclosed. How much additional revenue is this acquisition going to bring in? How many new customers are you going to add to your base?
Yeah, so we have obviously not announced the deal contours to media, but it's a 23-store business in Bangalore, which does around 110 crore of annual revenue. The business is profitable. Stores make around 8-9% EBITDA, and at a company level, the company delivers 4% EBITDA. They do 16 to 18 lakh orders per year. So we will fund their operations also to grow faster. Okay, we have not yet figured out more depth of operational, but there are a lot of synergies in both the companies in the back end.
And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.